Hello and welcome to today's session. So today we're going to start lying down. So we're going to come to our lovely semi-supine. Take with you a strap so that you've got something to support some of the leg work that we're going to do. Make sure that whatever's under your head is going to keep your head, neck and spine in alignment. And just remembering everything that we do in our session needs to be pain and strain free. So feeling our muscles work is great. Feeling a deep stretch is great, but never pushing into any pain. So please be mindful of that. And really always ensuring that you've got your healthcare teams okay to be exercising. So we're going to join each other in semi-supine. So just coming down through side lying. It's much better than coming down kind of straight onto your back, and the same with coming up. I would always suggest coming through side lying because it's just going to reduce the strain through the front of the body and through the back as well. So we're going to have our feet hip width apart, our knees are bent, the knees are pointing to the ceiling. The feet are hip width apart, yeah. And then we've got that nice length through the spine. And just noticing if you can maybe tuck your shoulder blades under a little bit and bringing your hands to rest on your belly. So making like a diamond shape with the arms. And here we are in our position of constructive rest. And I talk about it a lot because it's such a great posture in so many ways. So knowing that when we're lying here, we're not doing nothing. The body is really appreciative of this space in the front of the body. So where our digestive system, our respiratory system lives, lying like this gives us more space for all of those internal organs to work more efficiently when they're less cramped. And then space for the vertebra so that those lovely discs can get some hydration. And it's a moment for us to just settle in and be held by the support underneath. If your legs are feeling particularly tired, you might want to let the knees fall in towards each other so you get that sense of them kind of holding each other up. And then let's just take a moment to notice the breath. Noticing the breath breathing the body. So not changing the breath in any way. Let's not manipulate the breath at all for a little bit. Just noticing what the breath is doing, because the breath is breathing us, right? It's the one of the processes that we can control, but actually it knows what it's doing most of the time. It doesn't need our input most of the time. So it's nice just to bring that curiosity to what's happening with the breath as it moves in and out of the body. Can you get that sense of the breath breathing you? And then let's just take a moment to scan through the body, feeling for where we may be holding tension unnecessarily. So just let's start in the face. So noticing if you're holding any tension in the brow, seeing if we can allow that area to soften, widen, and maybe flatten. Coming to the eye area, can you allow the muscles around the eye area to soften and release? To the jaw area, are you clenching your jaw? Can you see if you can just release the tension that you might be holding in the jaw? Wiggling the jaw is a really good thing to do. And if that brings a yawn, then that's really great, because that's a signal that the nervous system is down regulating. So we're coming out of fight, flight, freeze into more that rest, digest, recover, repair state. Seeing if we can bring the tongue to rest behind the lower teeth. And taking a moment just to lift the corners of your mouth, just noticing if doing that changes your energy at all. Coming down through the neck. Let's see if we can just release the shoulders even more into the support underneath. Allowing the arms to be heavy, the hands to be soft. It's very normal for our hands to go into quite a gripped position at rest. Just seeing if we can just soften the hands a little. Then let's come down through the spine to the pelvis. So firstly, seeing if you can soften the glutes, the buttock muscles, because they love to be held tight again. It's another place of holding, habitual holding for a lot of us. And then seeing if we can let the pelvic floor go a little bit, so letting that be soft. So that those three bones of the pelvis, the sacrum and the two hip bones, can they soften and widen? Can they take up more space on your mat? Can you imagine your hips widening to the width of the mat, just really allowing ourselves to take up more space? And then coming down all the way to the feet. So just noticing, are you gripping your toes? Can they be soft and maybe stretched out a little bit of space between the toes? So just noticing how it feels to have scanned through the body, to have found areas that maybe you didn't even realize you were holding on to, just feeling them soften and let go. So we're helping to signal to the body that we're in a safe space right now, that we are safe, that we don't need to be holding on, clenching, ready to dash or ready to freeze or stuck in freeze. We can soften and we can relax, and it's okay and it's safe to do so. And in this more gentle state, hopefully you're feeling more relaxed in your body. Let's just take some awareness to the breath. So let's breathe in, and as we breathe in, so I don't need you to take overly deep breaths, just noticing and following the normal pattern of your breathing. As you breathe in, saying silently to yourself, I breathe in. And as you breathe out, saying silently to yourself, I breathe out. So just narrating your own breath rhythm. I breathe in, I breathe out. And if your mind wanders off like clouds in the sky, just seeing if you can allow your thoughts to drift off. So rather than hooking into a story with those thoughts, seeing if you can just let those thoughts go, maybe imagining them being popped onto a cloud and off they go with the breeze. And coming back to the practice of I breathe in, I breathe out. And then the next time you finish your out breath, let's let go of that practice. Such a simple practice, but it can be really effective in times of stress. So, it's something that hopefully you can draw upon if you're feeling really stressed, just narrating the breath, coming and using the breath as an anchor can be really, really lovely tool to just help to down regulate the nervous system if you feel like you are getting into a heightened state. So let's start moving the body now. So let's get into some movement, but again, we can be really using the breath and the movement just to soothe the body and soothe the mind. So we're going to straighten the right leg towards the ceiling. This is where it's quite nice to have a strap, popping it behind the back of your thigh. And we're going to point the toes to the ceiling as we inhale, and then draw the toes back towards your head as you exhale. Good. Inhaling, pointing. Exhale, draw the toes back towards the head. Good. Inhale, point, so stretching through the calf muscle. Feeling probably quite a deep, almost neural stretch down the back of the leg, because it's really stretching the fascia, so that lovely connective tissue that goes around all of our body, a bit like a all-body wetsuit. This lovely tissue goes around our whole body, and the nerve endings sit there. So when we stretch the fascia, we can feel those nerves getting stretched. Good. Stimulating our lymphatic system as we get that calf muscle pumping. Good. Good. And then from there, let's just bend the right knee and then straighten the right knee. So keeping the strap behind if you're using the strap, but otherwise just bending and straightening the leg in that position. Getting into our knee a little bit. And if the ankle is at 90 degrees, you're going to be gently stretching into the sciatic nerve there. So just go gently with that. So just don't push into, anything that's uncomfortable or painful, but getting a nice stretch. That's going to be nicely stretching the fascia, flossing the fascia. Good. And then releasing that leg down. Let's change onto the other side. And you might take a moment to feel, how does your right leg feel after that exercise in comparison to the left side? So then let's straighten the left leg, maybe popping the strap behind to support. The upper body needs to stay relaxed against the floor if you're using the strap. Yeah. So then let's start pointing the toes. Inhale, drawing the toes back. Exhale. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Keeping your right knee pointing to the ceiling, because that's going to probably want to just flop out to the side or inwards, just keeping it active. Just seeing if you can drop into sensation, like how is that feeling? What can I feel? So rather than kind of going through the motions and your head being thinking, oh, what am I going to do later? What am I going to make for dinner? See if you can be really embodied, in your body for this time together today. Can you feel what's happening as you bring your toes towards your head? What happens? And what's the difference when you point your toes towards the ceiling? Good. And then keeping the leg towards the ceiling, can we just come into some flexion and extension of the knee? So we're letting the knee bend and straighten. And if you keep the ankle at 90 degrees, you might get a nice stretch into the sciatic nerve. But so just take it gently. Go slowly so you can feel what's happening. And that's another thing with these sessions. We go slowly so you can really be mindful about what's happening in the body. It's going to really reduce any risk of injury. Good. And then releasing that leg down. How does that leg feel? Good. Let's hug the right knee to the right armpit now. So just taking the knee slightly to the side of the armpit and circling your toes to get into that rotation. Ankle flexibility is really important. And then the other way. Good. Releasing that foot down, and we'll change sides. Left knee to left armpit, circling one way. Keep your right knee to the ceiling. So it's going to, every time we're using one leg, just make sure that the other leg's still kind of active, and then the other way. Very nice. Releasing that foot down. Back to our semi-supine. Very nice. Okay, let's do a little bit of pedaling now. So we're going to pedal our right foot. So we're getting into our hip now a little bit more. Keeping, let's wake the core up now, saying hello to the core. So our belly button gently back to our spine. We've got that nice little curve in the lower back. Noticing if you're able to keep that stability there. If you're not, go a bit smaller with your circles. And then let's reverse the pedal. Good, release that leg down. Good, let's go with the left leg, pedal forward, left leg. Good, and then the other way. Good. Release that leg down. Good. So hopefully our legs are feeling more awake now this morning. And let's come into our abdomen, into the pelvis. Okay, so we're going to do some nice deep belly breath. So our diaphragmatic breath, that's going to really support the flow of lymphatic fluid from the trunk to back towards the heart, and we're going to be mobilizing any scar tissue in the front. So just go gently to begin with. We're going to inhale, tilt the pelvis forwards. Exhale, tilt the pelvis back, so the belly button gently draws back towards the spine. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. Inhale, tilt the pelvis forwards. Exhale, tilt back. Very nice. Let's come back to neutral spine. Let's engage the core here. So let's just work a little bit on the core. So as long as you haven't got any incisions in the front of the belly or anything that's uncomfortable, you might want to put a little bit of pressure. So we're going to take the pointy bits of the front of the hips, coming in a couple of centimeters towards the belly button, and just put a little bit of downward pressure there. This is the only place we can find the transversus abdominis, that core muscle, the only place we can feel it with our fingers. Okay, so just having a little cough, we're just going to remind ourselves of what it feels like when the core engages. And then let's inhale together. And as we exhale, belly button draws back towards spine, gently pulling up on the pelvic floor, which is like stopping ourselves pee mid-flow, holding that contraction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then soften off. Can you feel that engagement and then release under your fingertip? Let's do one more. Inhale, exhale, belly button back towards the spine, coming up on the pelvic floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release and let it be soft. So hopefully that's a little reminder. Yeah, that's what the core contraction feels like. I know what I'm working with, because now we're going to work into the core even more. Okay, so we've kind of been working in a progressive way through our sessions. So if you're picking up, and this is the first session that you've done, you might want to go back some videos to see how we've been progressing this, because we're going to start with our legs up today. Okay, now if that does feel too much to hold your legs like that, then feel free to have the legs down, and we can do straightening the legs along the floor. So you could find a different way to work with the core. So if it's comfortable for you, we're going to have the legs up at 90 degrees at the hips and the knees. Looking into the camera can really help you to see where your legs are if you're on the live. So we're going to inhale together here. We're exhaling, we're going to engage the core, and we're going to toe tap with the right heel. Inhale at the bottom and soften the core. Exhale again to engage the core to come back up. So we're moving on the exhalation. Inhale at the center, exhale, engage core to tap your left heel. Inhale there, exhale, coming back up. Good. Inhaling. Exhale, engage, right heel taps. Inhale, exhale, coming up. Good. Inhale, exhale, left side taps. Inhaling there, exhale to come back up. Let's release it down, wiggle the hips out. Okay, so if that is getting you in the hip flexors and it's like, oh, that just feels too much, then when we're doing it, inhale at the starting position of semi-supine, and then exhale to straighten the leg like so. So the leg can be tapped along the floor or hovering above the floor for more challenge. Okay, so that is an option. So don't have the legs up if it feels all too much. If you feel like you're losing control in the spine, if you feel like there's a lot of tension in the hip flexors, so these muscles, at this junction here of the hip. So we're going to come back to what we were doing if that's working for you, and we can add in the obliques. Okay, so a little bit of abdominal strengthening as well, but really being mindful. Like if you have any spinal issues, I would say not to do this, because it can put quite a lot of pressure on the spine. And so any osteoporosis or anything like that. And equally, if you have scar tissue, any new scar tissue particularly, or you've had anything with the muscles or hernia, then I wouldn't do crunch like movements. Okay, so Don't only do this one if you know that you're kind of safe to do a crunch, okay, which I know is not for everybody. So what we'll do is we'll put our fingertips behind our ears like so. Okay, we're going to do our toe taps and then we'd come back up and we'd just gently bring the knee to the elbow to the side that we've just brought the leg up from. Okay, so we're going to inhale here, starting point. Exhale, toe tap with the left, or heel tap, sorry, with the left. Inhale there. Exhale, come up, and then let's bring the right elbow towards your left knee and then come back down. Good. Inhale. Exhale, right heel taps. Inhale there. Exhale, come up. Left elbow to right knee and then back down. Good. Inhale. Exhale, left heel taps. Inhale. Exhale to come up. Right elbow to left knee. Good. Coming back down. Good. Inhaling. Exhale. Right heel taps. Inhale. Exhale to come back. Left to right. Good. And then releasing it off and shaking your heels out. Shaking your heels and shaking your hips. I meant hips. And good. Hopefully you feel a little bit of work. We can work on that and progress on that, but I think it's a really good starting point. Good. So let's do a little bit of bridging here. So we're going to push through the feet and we're going to lift the pelvis off the floor, and you can bring in some arms as well. So as we lift the pelvis, you might want to lift the arms up and overhead. Okay, so we could push through the feet, inhale, the arms come up and over. Exhale, lower the pelvis, engage the core to lower down. Good. Inhaling, pelvis rises, arms reach up and over. Exhale, lower with control. So carrying on your own time, keeping that tone in the buttocks, but we're not overly clenching the buttocks. Using your breath as your guide. If you're holding your breath or your breath becomes rather staccato in nature, then maybe you're pushing a bit too hard. So you don't have to use the arms if that feels too much. And you really don't have to take your pelvis very high if it's feeling difficult either. Good. Remembering that the slower we move, the more strength we're building. Good. And the next time the pelvis reaches the floor, just wiggling the hips out. That's really nice. Very good. Let's take the arms to a diamond shape so that the back of the arms are connected with the floor now. Okay, and from here, we're going to take our arms to a diamond shape above the head. So I'll just sit up and show you what that looks like. So it's from here, cactus arms, to here, diamond arms, but seeing if you can keep the back of the arms connected with the floor. This is a nice stretch for the chest and the armpit area. Again, just doing what's comfortable, listening to the body, not pushing. Good. And then releasing the arms back down by the sides and just letting your head roll from side to side. So this is a lovely one for massaging the back of the head. Releasing tissue fluid from the skull down through the neck back towards the heart for drainage. Really, really good one. Good. Okay, from there, let's just gently roll onto your most comfortable side. And if you would like to, we're going to take up one of your blocks, so hopefully they're not too far away. Good. Double up what's under your head. Okay. Thinking your spine nice and long, your knees are bent and stacked on top of each other. Okay. And the lower hand might want to be like a little pillow under your head. And then we're going to have the top elbow. And I just want you to notice what's happening with your top shoulder, first of all. Is the shoulder falling forwards? Is it falling backwards? Let's see if we can have it stacked nicely. So you might want to use your lower hand for a moment just to feel, what's happening with my shoulder? Can I get it just to be resting nicely in a very, like in a nice stacked kind of way? And then I want you to take your top elbow and tuck it into your side and have your elbow at 90 degrees. Okay, tucked into your side, and bring your fingertips to point towards the ceiling. And then we're going to bring the fingertips to tap towards the floor. Okay, and then it's going to come back up. So can you feel we've got a rotation happening at the shoulder joint here? Yeah, so we're working into our shoulder range of movement. We're looking, if we start to slow the movement down, we're going to be working on the strength around the shoulder, particularly at the back. So we're helping to keep our shoulders in nice posture here. So you might want to take your block now and add that in as a bit of resistance. So holding the block in the hand, keeping the elbow tucked into your side, keeping the elbow at 90 degrees. Can you lower the block to the floor, then lift it towards the ceiling? Lower it to the floor, lift it to the ceiling. Really nice. Doing what feels comfortable for you. Take rest whenever you need to. If this feels too much with a little bit of resistance in your hand, then just doing it with your range of motion. Good. And then releasing the block now if you're using a block, and then just shaking the arm out. So just releasing any lactic acid or anything that's built up there. Good. Let's get a nice side stretch in whilst we're here. So let's bring the hand, that top hand, to rest on your hip, top hip. Then we're going to reach that hand up and over in a nice arc over to tap above your head. Turn the palm to face to the ceiling, and then drawing that lovely arc all the way back down. Again, we're going slowly and controlled. If it feels too much to stretch the arm straight, you can have that top elbow bent. That's just going to reduce the stretch there. And just getting that sensation of stretching through the armpit. Really nice. Good. And then the next time the hand's by your side, let's leave it by the side. And then we might want to bring it as an extra little bit of support in front as we come into our leg work. It's just really nice to strengthen the legs inside lying, because it really helps to isolate the muscle. Okay, so we're going to just do straight leg today. So we're going to straighten that leg. So our toes and our nose go in the same direction. We're going to inhale, lift the leg towards the ceiling, and then exhale, lower that leg with control. Good. Lifting to the ceiling, really making sure you're lying on your side so you're not falling backwards or rolling forwards. And it's the side of the leg that's lifting towards the ceiling. Okay, so just really feel what's going on there. Good. Let's do one more and let's make it count. So let's take the leg up together and then lower it as slowly as we can. Really good. And then giving yourself a nice rub on the top of that hip. Good. Let's roll over and we're going to do the same on the other side. I'll spin around so that you can still see me and I can still see you. Bringing your block with you if you're using the block. Okay. So checking what our shoulders are doing. Are they flopping forward? Or the top shoulders, is it falling, flopping forward? Is it rolling back? Stacking it nicely. And then we'll tuck the elbow into the side. And can we have a go at rotating in the shoulder? Okay, so our fingertips come to point to the ceiling and then to the floor. Elbow stays tucked into the side. If you have at least 90%, if not 100% of your movement, and you want to add some resistance in, you might want to take your block. So my block's about 300 and something grams. It's not heavy, but it does offer some resistance and it's going to start strengthening the muscles at the back of the body. And remembering the slower we go, the more strength we're building. Very nice. So noticing when you bring the block back towards the floor, see if you can not let the elbow come away from the side. So see if you can keep it almost like it's stuck to your side, the elbow, all the way through the movement. That's going to really isolate the muscles at the back of the body. The body loves finding little cheat routes and then releasing off. Good. Straighten that arm towards the ceiling. Shake it out. And then bringing that hand to rest on your upper hip. And then we're going to inhale, do that lovely arch to tap above the head. You can bend, this stuff in the way. You can bend that elbow if you'd like to, turning the palm to the ceiling to come back through. Good, reaching up and over. Something quite elegant about doing this. It feels a little bit ballerina-ish. And this is getting into the armpit where we have lots of lymph nodes. So it's just supporting, again, the flow of lymphatic fluid. Cleverly, the body has put all those lymph nodes around our joints. So the more we move our joints, the more we can support lymphatic flow. And releasing that hand now to be maybe a little bit of scaffolding in front. Maybe you've got your fingers like lizard claws, elbow in front at 90 degrees. And we're coming into our straight leg raise. So our toes on our nose are in the same direction. We're lifting the leg towards the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, lower with control. Inhale, lifting. So just taking it to where it's comfortable. Good. Let's do one more. Let's make it count. But if it's too much, then just take rest. It's really okay. Very good. And giving yourself a lovely rub. Very nice. Let's gently come up to standing now. And we can bring our blocks with us. So bringing them somewhere that you can get hold of them. We're going to have 2 this time. And take your time. So we've been lying down for a little while. We're going to just do a little bit of standing work today to finish. I need to move my camera so that you can see the whole of me. Just off me. It's helpful. So just clearing your space of any hazards. We don't want anybody slipping over. Still can't see my head. All right. Okay, so I've got a windowsill that's near me to hold on to. It might be that you wanted to put a chair in front of you. We're going to do some standing exercises. So what do you need to keep yourself safe? If your balance is feeling a little bit challenged, just make sure you've got something to hold on to. Okay, so we're going to come into our horse stance now. So our toes are pointing to the corners of my mat. So I'm standing facing the side of my mat, and I'm coming into that wide horse stance. So I'm imagining I'm sat on my very sturdy, very reliable Welsh cob horse today. Okay, and I'm taking my knees back, so my knees aren't collapsing forwards, and I'm just going to come down into a little squat and then stand. So I want your spine to stay completely long. We're not collapsing forwards, we're not reaching back, we're purely going up and down. So we inhale as we go down, we exhale as we come up. Inhale, exhale, engage to stand. Good. Now, if that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can do a normal squat. So you can have the feet hip width apart. So find what's right for you. Strengthening these muscles, okay, is going to really support your knee health. Okay, because the stronger the muscles are around a joint, it creates traction. Okay, and that's going to give more space within the joint. So you're not going to get that kind of bone to bone issue. Okay, it means that the synovial fluid can move more freely. Inhaling down, exhale up. And if you are feeling uncomfortable, is there a point at which you can go to without feeling uncomfortable? So it might be that you just don't bend the knees quite so much. So just find your place. Okay, so the legs are wide, the knees are coming towards the back of the mat rather than forwards. And if you want to add in, we can add in tucking the elbows into the sides, and then we can have the elbows at 90 degrees. And as we stand, we're taking the hands out to the sides. And as we bend the knees, the hands can come back towards each other. Now, if that feels super easy and you want to do a little bit more, you might want to pop the blocks into your hands. So again, feel free to come into normal squat. You could be doing exactly the same, but in a normal squat. Either. Good. Keep that as elbows tucked in, the shoulders are rolled back and down. Good. If your spine was an elevator, everybody stood in your elevator wouldn't be completely fine. That it's not that we're tilting forward and our people in our elevator would fall over. So now let's come down again. Keep the elbows tucked in, and this time as we come up, we're going to do our arms like so. Okay, so straightening the knees, the arms come out to the sides. Good. Bend the knees, the hands come back down together. Up, lifting the arms to shoulder height. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down. Good. Let's now tap above the head. Boop. And then come back down. Tap above the head and come back down. Really nice. Good. Using our core. We engage the core as we stand. Good. Let's do one more, but take rest if you need. Good. And then heel toe in. Doop, 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 doop. Very nice. Let's pop the blocks down. Okay. So we're going to finish with our little it's called happy days breathing. Okay, so we're going to be coming up and down on the tiptoes. So we've got our feet hip width apart. We can have our chair. We could be holding it. We could be doing our piano fingers. We have our feet hip width apart. We're going to come up on the tiptoes and then exhale down. Let the heels come back to the floor. Inhale, coming up. Exhale down. Now, if that feels really easy for you and you're not needing the support of the chair by your side, you might want to then come into arms, like a sun circle, the arms. So as we come up on the heels, the hands reach up towards the ceiling to connect above the head. Exhale, lower the heels, lower the arms. Good. Inhale. Tap with the hands. Exhale, lower with control. Good. So we inhale as we're rising up. Exhale, engage your core to lower you down with control. Good. Inhale. See if you can coordinate that inhalation and that exhalation. Let's do one more. And then lowering down. Very nice. And we're going to cut the elbows, the opposite elbows to opposite hands, yeah. And then lifting the arms above the head. Inhaling here, so nice and long through the spine, and then gently exhale to one side, so you're getting lovely side bend. Inhale there, exhale to the center, good. Inhale, exhale, side bend the other way. Inhale there, exhale back to center, inhale center, exhale side bend to the first side. Inhale, exhale center, inhale, exhale, side bend the other way. Inhale and exhale, center. Bringing the fingertips to point to the ceiling. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then drawing a lovely big circle. Stretching your fingers really wide. Coming all the way down. Very nice. And then let's just shake that out. And then to finish, we're just going to allow ourselves to kind of swing from side to side. So we're lifting our left heel and allowing ourselves to like sway to the right, lifting our right heel, we can sway to the left. So there's no torsion in the knees at all. We're just allowing our arms to be like ragdoll heavy. And releasing off. So this is a joint freeing posture. Yeah, we're just letting the joints be free. Good. Really nice. And then coming to make those circles smaller and smaller and smaller. And let's close our practice by bringing one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Softening the gaze, if that's comfortable for you. And sending yourself some real genuine gratitude and love for making an effort to get on your mat today, for this time for movement, for this time to connect with your breath, and maybe even moments with your inner self, supporting your nervous system into a state of safety. So although it might feel like an exercise session, you really are taking care of your whole being. And then just gently coming back into the space. And thank you so much for joining. And lovely to see you all, and hope to see you next time.